When Ben Getz founded Urban Harvest Edible Gardens, he felt that it was the expression of his love for this earth. He believes that we are as responsible for the earth's well-being, just as it is responsible for ours. By working with nature, Ben aims to show that if we create an abundance of healthy, organic and locally grown food in our urban environment, we can reawaken a deeper reverence for the earth and practically re-establish a healthier balance in our lives.
My love for gardening and being in nature and being with plants came from an early age, spending time with my grandmother in nature. Walking from her home to shul on Shabbat, on Saturday we'd walk across Sea Point and we'd stop at the rock pools. And the other thing is that she loved to tell stories, and she was a fantastic storyteller. And specifically, she told the stories of the Old Testament. She told the stories from the 5 books of Moses, and that every story has a moral, but not just a moral. Every story is full of lessons and wisdom, and that one can be and should be creative in terms of how one understands stories and how one tells stories. And I think that nature tells a story. Every single garden we create is a story. We've to date created 324 food gardens around Cape Town, and every single one is unique, and every single one is a story which is specific to that context and specific to the particular beneficiaries. And I think that gardens are incredible in that way. They really are full of wisdom if we take the time to stop and pay attention and get our hands involved and our eyes involved and our ears and our nose and our whole body is involved. I think primarily maybe the 2 most important therapies of being in the garden are just watching nature do its thing, because we don't do much in a garden. We kind of set the ball rolling and then we let things happen and we watch the miracle of nature, the miracle of existence unfold. And then the second thing that we learn in the garden is that you reap what you sow. So what you put in, you get out. Urban Harvest is so much more than just growing food. In fact, the core of it, the main pillar of it is social upliftment. And I started a society at UCT, which was a Art of Living and Yoga Society at UCT. And so what we did is every week we went to a township, Masiphumelele township near Fishhook, and we worked with a community there of children at a youth center, and we set up a food garden for them with them. And part of our sort of weekly activity was tending to the food garden, again imparting all sorts of different experiences and knowledge, but the main one being you reap what you sow. But the main aspect was giving of our time as a young group of students to help improve the lives of others, and absolutely at the same time improving our own lives.
Growing up, I used to be involved in home gardens as well as farming projects. So it was something that I had passion for, but just didn't have a place where I could actually, bring my passion out. It was then when I came to Urban Harvest that I actually see that there is more to farming, and actually something more interesting than what I already knew.
Urban Harvest has installed and maintained 324 food gardens around Cape Town to date. About 40% of those food gardens are in community context. So what Urban Harvest does is we work with the community to design a unique and beautiful vegetable garden. We build the garden together with the community, and we run edu maintenance, which is education and maintenance support, to make sure that the gardens are sustainable in the long term.
Urban Harvest approached the school for a place to have their offices, and we had a space for them, so they came and set up their offices here. And they also made a beautiful garden, which is for the school and it's for the children. So they manage the garden, but the children also have a lot of input. They come, they harvest, they help plant, they help weed, they help with the upkeep, they help with watering.
We do lessons in the vegetable garden. So we've got a really great relationship going with Urban Harvest and the vegetable garden.
So broccoli is actually a flower, the same as cauliflower. It's called cauliflower. They look very similar. Maybe we'll find a cauliflower over there. So we've got some broccoli. What else can you guys see that's ready for harvest here? Okay, spinach, right? Lots and lots and lots of spinach.
The garden means a lot to the kids at the school. Number one, it has a lot of vitamins. It's freshly harvested from the garden, straight to the pot, and the children enjoy it. And I try to incorporate most of what is in the garden into the meal. Whatever there is, I try to work and incorporate it into each dish.
Taste-wise, usually the poison has got after effects in plants. So if it's your leafy crops that you put fertilizers and pesticides, you might end up getting a bitter taste when you harvest, whereas in organic farming, it's actually having food in its natural state. Less side effects as well as it's healthy.
I would say the most important thing about this vegetable that makes it special is that it's very, very, very fresh. Because if you buy something from the shop, it may have been traveling for a week before it gets to the shop, and then it stays on the shelf for days and days before you buy it. This we just harvested 2 minutes ago, and if you feel it, it's heavy. A lettuce doesn't normally feel so heavy. In the beginning, people are getting into it because they're talking about, yeah, we need fresh food for the feeding scheme. But very soon it becomes much, much more than that. It becomes a source of pride. At a lot of the community projects, when somebody new comes, Department of Education or any visitor, one of the first places that the principal will take them is to the garden. Come and have a look at our garden. And it's a source of pride, it's a source of inspiration, and it also generates more interest in the school, so positive PR and more investment in the school, from the school itself and from outside.
I would describe Ben as a man who's full of knowledge in terms of farming, which obviously has developed through the years he's been involved in farming. And I think for somebody who hasn't met Ben, there is quite a lot to learn in terms of organic farming.
In terms of what I've learned from him, well, there is much to say, but let me maybe stick to urban gardens, which I've managed to suck as much knowledge on how to design and to incorporate different things into the garden, and to to make to put in tangible the vision that a client or a person has in the mind.
I think that Derech Eretz, if I were to translate it more or less directly, I would say it's the way of the land. And to be more poetic about it, I'd say that it's actually about the way of nature. And for myself, it's a question I've been asking myself my whole life, which is, what is my nature and what is my purpose on the planet? And I think that in terms of what is our nature, everyone has a unique fingerprint. Everyone has an absolutely unique purpose to fulfill on the planet. The one thing that I think connects us is that the one thing that we share is that I believe that we're all here to make a positive difference and to be generous and loving and supportive of each other and of nature.